And Jan Tober was talking about the Atlantean Gate, and I just sat there and my mouth fell up, and I went, "People know too." I was like, "Wow!" To hear a human say the same thing an animal had told me, and I knew nothing about it. It was pretty cool. So, anyway, people still coming in here. So we're going to open the space in a moment, but I wanted to open up the first part of the class today so that you can share stories, and you can also start asking questions about setting up your business for those that are going to go on and do this either part-time or full-time, and not that long in the future. I want to make time to talk about that. And not that you have to set it up exactly the same way I did, but, we want to support you in that. So, anybody have a comment, a question about that?
I have a comment. I was listening to the Alberto Vivaldi, however you pronounce his name.
Uh-huh.
He was doing a free thing on the dark side, the shadow,
Right.
and he made a comment. And his comment was that the humans, the whales, and the dolphins all have like the same sort of brain. Like they were the only three animals that had similarities and
Well,
say
it would be
DNA.
it's the quantum DNA, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so he called it out, and I was like, "Oh yeah,
He's amazing.
yeah,
He's
yeah, he
had
is."
some amazing experiences. Yeah. Good. Good. Anybody else? All right. Well, we're recording, so let's see here. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's move into the small space of our heart. Take some nice deep breaths. Feeling into the power and the gratitude that we have for our connection to these majestic beings, ancient beings, best friend beings that we call the dolphins and whales. And let's ground. Let's go down into the earth and say hello to Mother, beautiful Gaia, really anchoring your light, connecting to your body's elemental, to earth and air, fire and water, and knowing that this is the place your body was built in its physical form, and asking for an infusion of love from Mother Earth herself. So the energy comes up now, up the prana tube, and we'll guide it up into the heart. Allowing that energy now to flow into your bloodstream and move us into deeper levels of compassion and love. Now opening our heart space, sending a pulse of love to God, up through the sun, through the source light as it comes through the sun. And immediately again, we receive an infusion of love. And this beautiful love that comes this way involves communication with the angelic realm. I call it the support realm. Ascended masters and guides and beings of love that have dematerialized in some way and are here to support. And allow that to mix now with the energy of Mother Earth. And we're seeking now a perfect unity balance, 0 point energy as we step out of duality. And we know there is no right or wrong. In this place, we honor that free will that we have. And we ponder what we might actually do with it because it is so powerful. All the many things we could do with our free will. And today, of course, we've chosen to work with the whales and the dolphins to find out more about who we are and how we can co-create with them. All right, to the south, let's refresh your grid. And I'm calling in again Archangel Uriel, who's on my southern perimeter. And I also have the orca whales and the pilot whales. And let's call in the star beings. Let's bring in a Pleiadian emissary. And the south is open. Into the west, as we structure the grid, Archangel Gabriel is present. Today, again, we work on more and more levels of communication, our ability to channel the dolphins, especially when they bring those loving messages to our clients, to us as classmates. The west is open. Oh, let's bring in a star emissary. Who would like to come? Alpha Centauri. Okay, thank you. And the west is open. Let's turn to the north and welcome our beautiful friend, Archangel Michael. He helps us with our blueprint, our divine potentiality, guiding us on our life path. Let's bring in the Mother Blue Whale. Beautiful. She can help you with your electrical, neuroelectrical activity, calming you, bringing you this overwhelming peace. And let's call in a Syrian emissary to be a part of our class today. The north is open. Let's go to the east. And here are the healing ones, Bella and Humphrey. Archangel Raphael, his beautiful team. And we'll just go ahead and call in an Arcturian emissary because we have so many already there. Lord Sananda and his team. They're all welcome, of course. The east is open. Well, let's sink down into the earth now to where we grounded, center below. Let's call in the gray whales, Archangel Shamuel, and an Andromeda emissary. Take a deep breath and bring the energy all the way up as the octahedron starts to fill with prana. Beautiful light, lots of color. Let's go up to the apex of center above, and there's Archangel Jophiel. And we call in now the Council of the 13 White Whales to be with us and their overlighting presence and wisdom. And let's call in a representative from the Orion system. Center below is flowing, rising up to center above again. And I'm visualizing now the Lyran system, the star emissary from there. Let's connect it all 7 directions now as you come into your heart. You connect deeply now with your oversoul, with the I am presence. And today we ask for changes, shifts, and lots more wisdom. And each of you call in your guides now, and I'm calling in Master Buddha, and the vibration of the Council of the 12 Ascended Dolphins, as well as other free dolphins that would like to be here. Our sacred space is open. Okay, a couple more people coming in. Again, okay, and we're having on the ocean here wonderful sightings of various dolphins and whales, and I wish more people could go out. It's going to come back, of course, but I'm going to open up here and show you a little bit about what's been going on since I saw you last time. Get us in the spirit.
Hi, my name is Kat. I'm 65 years old. I have nothing on my face except some moisture.
Water dolphins. Friendly gray whales. The minke whale is the smallest whale. Very cute.
Pinch me, I'm right here. Another little baby over here. Coming up.
Pretty fun. Makes you want to come visit, huh? Oh, what do you want to say? You're kind of loud. Quit just yelling. You want to go on the boat? Yeah. Okay. My kid likes the boat. She grew up with dolphins. Okay. How do you feel? Feel good? Okay. So let's take a moment to answer questions. I'd love for you to share some of your client stories, things I've been hearing through email, wonderful things happening, and just acclimate a little bit more towards as we're nearing the end of the course, that you're being prepared outside of the manual, outside of client sessions, with kind of starting to form what maybe the name of your business is going to be, the things that you're going to need, or questions that you have, and any help that you may need with your website. Again, everybody's not going to do that. I realize that. Some of you are doing it for fun, and you'll go into the internship program and maybe decide then if you're going to, hang up your shingle, for whale and dolphin. I hope you do, though. And I think it'll bring you not only good income, but it'll bring you joy, and a sense of purpose in the service world. So who'd like to comment on what your plans are, what's been going on, or any questions you have? Manon.
Yes, hi everybody. So I do have a website currently. So my question is going to be, once we get the certification complete, like we are certified, my plan is to go back into my website and like completely redo the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So are we going to have like some help to do that? Or because I'm with a platform for goodhosting.com and I don't find it very user friendly at all. So if I need help, um, is it something that you will be providing
Are you talking about with your website?
Yes,
I can
yes.
recommend a couple of different webmasters that work
Okay.
totally customized, but no, it's not one of my skills.
Okay.
And I can tell you now, and I'll put that in writing too, when you become an intern and then you graduate, is that you're able to use the quotes, anything that's or articles that are in our manuals, or anything that's on my website, as long as you give us, copyright credit. And
Okay.
I can also give you. When can we do that? Maybe next week. I can make a list, which I need to do anyway, of people that are working from the last 2 years that have really nice websites. I mean, really
Okay.
good websites. And we can
Okay.
go maybe take a glimpse of those to give you guys some ideas.
Yeah,
Got really
that'd be
creative and
great.
beautiful and are doing well. One of our girls is in New Zealand, Paola, and we have some other ones here in California. And it's just, it's good for me too to check in on them and see how you're doing. And you may be curious about pricing and all that. We decided last year to vote as a group on what the first year would look like. And it's not that I want to make it a franchise. That's not the point. It's just that I want you all to move into the financial world as a pod. I want you to come in supporting each other, gracefully. There was some discernment over charging a certain price. I think it was $75 an hour as far as dollars go, and how that would translate into euros or some of the other. Anyway, they all worked it out amongst themselves, and we all signed an agreement. And of course, now it's been past that year, so they could go on now and charge more if they want, or move their prices around. But I'm going to caution you to be with the group. Basically, I mean, that's the whole teachings of the Whales and Dolphins, is that we move together. We move in harmony and integrity and beauty together. And so whatever you guys end up deciding as a group, if you honor that, I think it'll fuel your business, because it'll be part of the energy that we're coming out into the world with. And I would really hate to ever have an email or a phone call where somebody said, well, one of your graduates is charging $200 an hour and the other one's charging 75. And what's that about? I could not answer that question. I don't want to, You see what I'm saying? To where we can kind of come into the world with a similar pattern, basically. I'm not going to tell you how to organize your website in any way, but hopefully you'll be offering, not only the whale healing and clearing to each person. That's what we recommend, that everyone has that first. Sometimes people need it twice before they're ready for light body, because their body's not ready for the white whales yet. The white whales, remember, they're not from here. They're cosmic beings. They carry completely different energy. It's very powerful, as you know now. And you're starting to acclimate to it. But, we don't do that overnight. And so I never put a client with a white whale until I know absolutely sure that it's going to help them, not hurt them, because of that high frequency. So then you have the variety of, light body activations to offer them. And then again, usually the third or the fourth session, I start bringing in the dolphins, and we do the DNA work based on what that client's able to receive. There's no two people alike. So you do the best you can with that. And then some of you've been working with me privately. I don't necessarily do, if they're going to be with me long term, say maybe they're going to be with me 3 months or 6 months or even longer. I don't say we're going to do a DNA dolphin calibration in the light body in every session. Sometimes it's just DNA work with particularly layer 2, which we're going to explore today. Sometimes it's just light body, and most of the time it's both, though. So, but it's what they need in the moment. Is somebody asking a question?
Can I ask a question, Laurie?
Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Mafalda.
It's Mafalda. Yeah, I was just wondering, would you, how does it work? Because I know you suggested previously that you have a lot of people that
Are you there? We lost her. Okay. Well, hopefully she can come back. Anybody else? Any questions?
I have a question.
Okay, Laura?
Yes, so you're making a lot of these speaking events, you know, where you come on different radio shows and everything. Is that something that you're thinking eventually we will do as well?
Oh, I hope so. Yeah,
Okay.
I've had, I can't say a lot, but a few of the graduates have gone on and done some radio shows and different types of programs. One of them, think of her name. Well, it's been in the last year. She asked me to do one with her, and we really had fun. You know, the person interviewed both of us. It was really great from the perspective of coming from our school and then going on and creating her own business. And
Okay.
that was fun. Yeah, so feel free to invite me too.
Okay.
Well, it's fun to talk about dolphins and whales. But yeah, you can make, you know, a page, a letter page, and you could, you know, one of the things too is really big right now is podcasting. I don't know if you follow all the stuff I do, but I just did a podcast last week, and you know, I'd kind of put it off because I'm busy. And it was good when I finally did it. I mean, she was amazing. Her name was I wonder if that's up on my site. Lizbeth. And you know, we talked about dolphins and whales. She was an excellent interviewer. A young girl, but I mean, she's obviously got a great future ahead of her in broadcasting because she's really did a great job. Just look real quick as we're talking. So podcasting is, you can write to all different people, you know, that do podcasting, and I can recommend a couple people too that that promote podcasters. One of them's in Florida, and he sells this book, you know, of all the different people that do it. So you can contact them and ask to be on their show. Usually there's no money involved in those, unless they're a bigger broadcaster and they're willing to sell your package. Yeah, here it is. This girl. And she ended up contacting me, but you know, if I was building my business, I might have found her. Let's see. I can hear her. That start us to become more inquisitive, open up pathways that have been resistant. It's an electromagnetic frequency that works with us physically, emotionally, spiritually. And this is also how they can heal us, which is, you know, the work I'm doing now. They very much want to help us.
How do they go about opening up our DNA? Let's dive into that a little bit. Activate.
Well, again, it's a similar thing that we're talking about. If first step to doing it, I would say advanced healing with dolphins is permission. You have to realize who they are, in a sense of that they are super sentient. Dolphins have some 30 million years of experience. They look at everything from a holographic perspective. What they see, sense, and feel is a visual because of the way their brain has advanced and their brainstem is connected to their neurology. We're not that advanced yet. We can't send out a signal and come back and receive a picture. We're not there yet, but we will be. We'll get there. So they're able to, in just really not even 3 or 4 minutes, look at you, scan you, see what you.
Very nice.
There you go. So I'll give you an idea of what that was like. And again, some of the other bigger promoters that have their own radio show, I've done traditionally like once a year, some of them twice a year, and they'll sell, you know, your products for you, and that can be an additional stream of income, and for clients as well. So, and what you do is, you know, you put together a package if you have, and you guys hopefully will start recording, you know, some of your own messages, and maybe you'll make some CDs. Who knows what you're going to do? But if you have a package, I think I sold like about $800 in products for $100. So more people could have that experience. And I want people to have my CDs. I'm so ready to record again. I've got, like, you know, you guys know I have so many messages that need to be recorded professionally, and it makes it nicer when it goes out into the world. So anyway, that's a thought too, because those people will be attracted to you as you build your database. And the more you go out and speak, whether it's locally or on these shows, the more emails, you'll collect. And if you build your database, you pay attention. I'm putting emails into my database every day from people who contact me. And when there's no pandemic, I'm out, in addition to teaching classes here, I'm out going to events, whether they're here or in another state or country. And I come back with a lot of new emails, which helps your business grow. And then, of course, I have an assistant that handles all that because my business is too big now. But that gives us a focus for our newsletter, that group of people. I think we're over 10,000 people now in our database. So, but that's over 20 years or almost 20 years of being very attentive. So I don't know how the world will change, but right now we don't mail anymore. We used to have a mailing list and we would put a budget together for postage, Right now it's all email. It's about collecting emails and organizing them, and our database is constant contact. And so I can really recommend it to store your emails in and also to design emails to send out to advertise things you're doing or the healing work you're doing. In the early years of doing this, I not so much whale healing because I was doing more animal communication then. I would have a coupon for a class or a coupon for a private session. And that works. A lot of people they like coupons. Come on, discount. And then you get to work with them and then they become, part of your fan base, I guess you would say. I have an awful lot of people in the animal communication world, and also that I do life path work as an intuitive that will come back, for multiple sessions over the years, bringing their cat or their dog, or they have questions and they want to talk to their guides. So you'll build that to return clients, which is nice. And then there's a whole bunch of people out there that they don't necessarily buy my packages for whale and dolphin healing, even though I encourage them to, but they are pretty consistent. They'll call me just out of the blue about once a month or every 4 to 6 weeks. They want to do session. They just like to feel better, So I have, these are people you're not going to lock down, but, whatever. They still come around. They really enjoy it. And I enjoy them too. So it's really great. So I'm actually really looking forward to when we can have people here again, I mean, even though most of my clients are in another country or like you guys are another state, it's nice when people can come locally and Huda can lie on the bed with them and we can put the crystals on them. It's really nice to have the human connection too. So anyway, I wanted to designate this time to talk about the business that you're forming and also to talk about logistics and any stories that you want to share or questions. So.
Okay, and when we have to, like on the webpage, if we write something from your webpage or some of your flyers, do we then put in the bottom? Do we put the credits to Lori Rian on the bottom of the page?
I would just put copyright LoriRian.com.
Okay, on the bottom of our webpage, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I was thinking when we do, because I really like when we do the dolphin healings, that this session is sort of, there's more healing going on and less talking with the PowerPoint. When we do just the light body activation, I felt like we spend a lot of time looking through the PowerPoint. And I really liked when we had the dolphin healing coming in, and then there is more time just in healing mode, So can we muscle test and see if the client is ready? Like after we did the whale healing and clearing and we did one light body activation, then we could go on and then do the dolphin DNA and the light body activations after that.
Again, I usually will start muscle testing to see if the client's ready to work with dolphins by the third session.
Okay.
I don't think I've done any of the second session. I just think getting to know the white whales is kind of overwhelming, and having, again, you're talking about a lot of wisdom that's coming through, levels and levels of permission are being given when you first do the light body use PowerPoint number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one, they're integrating that. So it's possible you could do a DNA on the third session.
Okay.
But try not to overwhelm them, because when you first start, it's like, I want to give them everything I have, but this is not really what it's about. It's about giving them what they need.
Mm,
right?
okay.
I mean, you've got this whole tool chest. I know you want to go out and use it, but you have to be careful with what's best for them and what is going to help them and not overwhelm them.
Yeah.
Looks like we've got a question in the chat room here. Hi, Lori. I hope all is well. I was wondering if you could offer a little insight via the whales and dolphins. I'm doing a course, right? The School of the 9 Serpents. It turns out there are actually 9 schools, but the 5th school presenter turned over her galactic cards, and one was a whale and the other a dolphin. You can answer to in class too. I know it's not related to class. I don't know what the question is. If you're asking me if I know about this, I don't.
Yeah, it's so essentially, have you ever heard of Lisa Holt by chance?
I don't think so. No.
And she has these, she's been doing a lot of work, especially over in Japan, and especially a lot of contact work. So I took one of her courses last June, and so I just happened to get an email from her a couple weeks ago, and she was saying that she's going to be doing this. It's called the School of the Nine Serpents, and essentially, it's something that you come upon if you happen. Obviously there are no coincidences. You come upon this thing, and you take it in all your lifetimes, and it's not one school; it's 9 different schools. So she has a galactic card collection that she uses for each school, and she was turning over 2 cards for each school. And on the 5th school, which is Elements and Sensation, she just happened to turn over a whale card and a dolphin card. And I was just wondering if you knew anything about that, or if you could ask maybe.
Well, it would sound like if whales and dolphins were going to teach in a metaphysical school or an intuitive school like that it would be around the elements of water.
Okay.
Don't you think? The elements of crystals, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That makes sense to me that
Yeah.
they would work from that perspective. So, but
Yeah.
I'm not really sure I understand what the school is about. What is the goal of the school when you go?
Well, there's 9. They're interwoven like a fabric, and they each have points all connecting to each other, and it reminded me a lot of like light body activation because they're not done in a linear aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of difficult to explain.
Is it about healing though, or is it about?
No, it's more about
intelligence or
quote unquote ascension, even though it's not really, like to throw that word around, but that's essentially what it's about.
Great.
So,
well, sounds awesome.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you had any insight.
I'm kind of curious now about who the 9 serpents are. The serpent is often associated with shamanism, in the old days.
Well, that's what I think that's what the dolphin, that's what the whale card said. The whale, because she flipped it over and it said number 90, and it had a picture of a whale, and then it said shamanic journey on it. I don't have her cards.
But anyway, I mean, the serpent is often associated with medicine, basically light medicine, energy medicine.
Yeah, it's still on
as a staff, in the old days. But I've not studied that particular modality, but it's interesting that it's also in the Moon Key. The serpent holds one of the directions.
Right. Yeah.
It's not the same as the Adam and Eve story, where the serpent is evil. It's considered, benevolent, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And wise and powerful. So I'll have fun with that. Yeah.
Religion really got people with that story, amongst other things.
When we talk about, like in the DNA, the 666, right? How many were told when you were growing up 666 was a bad number? Yeah. And now we find out it's the number of God, that that's what your DNA is encodement is 666.
Yeah.
The strands of DNA. Yeah, they didn't want you to know you were God, did they? Yeah.
I planned ahead. I was never indoctrinated into any of that in this lifetime. So one less piece of baggage.
Well, and if religion didn't get you, then the movies would. Because they would make these movies about, things that, of course, we know now those movies were funded by the Illuminati and the cabal and organizations that would keep us weak and humble, Anyway, what else? How many of you are thinking about, after the internship program, doing this either part-time or full-time? How many are thinking of making a business? Yay, look at that. Okay, we have a lot to talk about then. That's very exciting. Yeah. And how many of you first time will be making a website? Okay. And the rest of you already have websites? That's good. Yeah. And remember, on the disclaimer on the PowerPoint is that if you're already doing some other type of healing modality, you probably can combine them in the same office, or the same structure somehow. A lot of people, I think, have gone on to do that with, acupuncture, Reiki, healing touch, matrix energetics. I'm trying to think of some of the ones that people are still doing whale healing. Of a girl in England that does whale toning, and whale breathing exercises, which I think is very exciting. So, yeah. Okay. Testelina.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I have a question because in your manual it says that the whales and dolphins do healing in the 5th dimension. And what about people who say, oh, I'm already in the 6th or 7th dimension? Do they still need healing, or?
Well, I don't know what to say. Are people saying that they're visiting the 6th and 7th dimension? Because if they were there, then they would not be here.
They say, for example, I have a friend, she says, oh, I'm not in the 3rd dimension anymore. I've done a course and now I'm elevated, I'm on the 7th.
Well, then, but yet you can see her in this dimension and ask her how she's decided she's multidimensional now. She can be in more than one location at the same time.
No. Not at
Well,
all.
if she's in the 6th dimension, that's the Syrian world. And that you can still see her physical body in the 3rd dimension. How does she explain that?
Well, actually, I see her in the 3rd dimension, and she has lots of pain and sicknesses. So that's why I see her in the 3rd dimension. But I'm not sure. How do you deal with people telling you I'm more elevated? Do they still need healing from the whales and dolphins?
But you're saying her physical body has pain?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, then she would definitely need whale and dolphin healing if her physical body has pain. And also, if she's in this is my understanding, if she's in a 6th dimensional frequency, then she wouldn't have a physical body.
Okay. Because I didn't know the differences between these dimensions.
Yeah, but I will tell you, I believe right now, most of us are sort of half and half between the 3rd dimension and the 5th dimension, where they merge. I mean, they're integrated. And I'm not saying someone couldn't go to the 6th dimension. I've gone there, but I'm also traveling in my Merkaba, and my physical body is still here in 3D, and I'm traveling there to experience that. Okay. So I'm trying to think if we've done the multidimensional travel yet in this class. Have we done that Seth gave us? So it's one of the reasons to study Merkaba is so you can travel to the other dimensions easily with the whales helping you. I encourage you to use whales if you're going to travel.
Okay, thank you.
But the frequencies are different there when you get into, I would say, moving through the 6th dimension, the Sirian system, and going into the 7th dimension, which is Alpha Centauri and Andromeda. Your body is going to be very light. It's going to be see-through even. It's not going to have the physicality or the density that we have here. So if you go there in your Merkaba ship, you're in a light body while you're there. You're going to experience that. They're not going to be humanoid people that you can touch. Like you have the Sirian system, they are physical. Same as in the Palladian system, they have a physical body. Even though it's not as dense as ours, it is a physical body. So Anyway, that's my personal experience of traveling there and going there and knowing them. And it's not like one place is better than the other. It's just the dimension that you're existing in. As the dimensions, as we have layered them and they move upward, you're carrying more and more light, in the body that you would consider your body, the container that you're using as a vehicle, which would be the soul vehicle, right? So very interesting. But if someone is going there, they're probably going there in some kind of Merkaba vehicle to escape the pain, I guess you would say, from here, right? To leave pain and hardship from this dimension. But that doesn't erase the fact that ultimately they're going to have to come back and heal it. So, but I don't think it's any different than someone that has pain that says, I'm going to go to sleep now. I mean, they want to sleep because they don't feel well. You know?
But do we still stay in the third dimension after we finish the full course with the whales and dolphins? Or can we say that we did some kind of ascension to the fourth dimension?
The fourth dimension is the astral realm. You definitely want to avoid it. It would be considered the gray zone. And it's where anything that you've ever thought or imagined would be in the fourth dimension. You know, we talked about like Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, also lots of demons, that kind of thing. Parasitic energies are in the fourth dimension. So you really don't, it's in it, that lays like an umbrella over the earth. So you have to pass through the gray zone, the fourth dimension. You go to the Pleiadian realm or the fifth dimension, but you definitely don't want to stop, you know, because, you know, you don't want to be coerced into staying there. I've worked with a lot of people that have passed over and talking to their families, and they're very much stuck in the fourth dimension. They think that they're in heaven, basically. Talked to this one guy, and he said to tell his mom not to worry because he goes to the racetrack every day and he wins. He has lots of money, but he drinks martinis all day long and he never gets drunk, you know. So that's his idea of heaven, but he's really in the fourth dimension. He's still playing out, you know, those things that he needs to learn before he can move on. Yeah, I don't think there'll be any gambling in the higher dimensions because we wouldn't pit ourselves against each other, you know, like in a negative way. What are you doing? Buddha just did a flip. She likes to come in sometimes from outside and flip herself, just like a little acrobat. Did you bring a mouse? No. Just wondered. Did I answer your question though?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Anytime someone's physical form is suffering in any way, whether it's, you know, a pain or a disease or a hardship of some kind, they would be prime candidates, I think, for whale healing because the whale healing is multidimensional.
But it's not that we ascend also in the fifth dimension and stay there at the end of the course or after having done all the sessions.
You mean for someone to go there and stay and not come back?
I don't know. Isn't the fifth dimension also here on Earth?
Well, like I said, I think I spend a lot of time. I think my house is pretty much in the fifth dimension. You know, I mean, have you ever laid your keys down and turned around and then they're not there, or even a hairbrush or something, and then you turn around and it's back? You know, it's like things are kind of, you know, merging. My house is like that. My life is like that. So I have to stay very grounded because of that. But when we do go to the fifth dimension, I mean, permanently, your physical body will either die, I guess you would say, transition, or it will disappear.
Okay.
When you go there and you don't come back, you're not going to be needing your body anymore here.
Okay. Understood.
So
thank you.
That would be, ascension is, you know, sometimes considered when people transition through the death process, and sometimes people disappear. The best example I have of someone disappearing is my fish tank. I have fish that ascend, and I have pictures of Puda. I wouldn't say ascending, but she turns into like a whirling light, and then she moves herself to another location very quickly, like on the roof or outside, or if you lock her in a room, which I don't do, but if I did, she would just beam herself out. She would just turn into light, but she would take her whole body with her. I mean, but that's a higher dimensional thing that we could do too. But I mean, animals instinctively know how to do it. Is that helpful?
Yes. So
Okay.
in other words, as long as we live here on Earth, we are always on the third dimension, right?
When we leave here, we're always in the third dimension?
Yes. When we are on Earth, while we are on Earth, we are always in the third dimension.
The Earth is primarily the third dimension, yes.
Okay.
Again, I think many of us are experiencing being in 5D here too, because the new Earth has already been created and it's in 5D.
Okay.
So I know that there's a passageway back and forth between the two realms because I experienced that. And I think that, you know, the whale healing for the most part is fifth dimension, very high. So have you ever been in the healing with the whales just since you started the school and just felt yourself sort of transported into a place of perfect peace? And then you sort of have to come back into your body when it's over.
When I had to come back, they shake me like that.
Yeah. So that's an example of moving into a different dimension, but your body is still here.
Okay.
But it's sort of yeah, I guess you would say it's in 3D because it hasn't gone away. It's still here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. No,
Good question. So yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe at one point we'll be able to advertise that fifth dimensional trips with the whales. I think that's probably a little bit ahead of its time, but that's really kind of what's happening. Take a 5D trip to the Sirian system and heal yourself. Well, it might make, you know, the work we're doing less credible though, you know, even though that's sort of what's happening. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah, thanks, Robert. Candace.
It just keeps, I once had this experience, I did an ayahuasca journey, but it was different than the usual one because they gave us another medicine too that opened the heart. And I had this experience of moving through the fourth dimension. This is how I interpreted it afterwards, but I moved through the fourth dimension and like there was all this scary stuff, but I was so in my heart that it couldn't touch me. So I was just watching it happen. And then all of a sudden it was like, I didn't know it was happening because I was just moving through it. But then all of a sudden I was just in this other space that I'm interpreting as the fifth dimension. But it was the way I understood it is that because I was so in my heart that I was just so neutral to that space of like all my fears and whatever that represented, that it couldn't even touch me. And then I just arrived into the new space. So how I relate that to what we're doing potentially is like on multiple levels, but we're learning how to be so in our hearts that we just arrive into that new space easily, transition to that. And then also we're healing all that stuff that's in that other space so that, like how Buddha says, just if you shave all your buttons down, they can't get pushed. So it's like we're doing a combination of learning how to be in our heart plus shaving down the buttons, or, you know, however you want to call that experience of not being attached to those things so that we can just move into the new space.
So you could be neutral. Yeah. Yeah. No trip.
While being in the heart also.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's another good example. That is the goal. The heart. We're in the heart. I don't know. Is the heart 5D? Probably part of it is, you know. What is 5D? 5D from Seth's perspective is a peaceful world where there's no disharmony. People are aligned, you know, peaceful conversations, peaceful activities, no war. You know, that would be 5D. No disease. Sounds good to me, huh? It's no wonder we want to go there. Yeah. Or shall we say, bring it here, transform it. Yeah. Yeah, no polarization, no duality. Right. Anybody else? Comments about building your business, what you need, how to start to prepare? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Raina is here, but I heard somebody else was trying to connect as well. I have a question that's not related exactly to the business aspect or what we've been talking until now, but at the end of module 1, you mentioned something about the dolphins, the whales, and a relationship with the dragons. And I wanted to ask you, are we going to talk about this? Is it now the moment, or you'll be mentioning this a little later?
Yeah. Well, I usually do it the last class.
Okay.
Where, I'm not an expert by any sense on dragons, but because of my one of my teachers and mentors, Judith Moore, about 5 years ago, she channeled for the first time the 7 dragons of creation. And so because of that particular class and that retreat that I did with her, and then we did one together where she brought them in, I got to know them better. I started researching pictures. And anyway, I bring them in fairly often to different things. And people can channel them and have their own experience with them. And they're quite beautiful, actually.
How they're related to the DNA or to the ascension of people? Like, can you
Well,
give it?
I think that I don't know how they're related to our DNA. I haven't had any information come in on that. Not saying that they're not. I'm just saying they haven't taught me that or shown me that. But what they have shown me is how they can assist us in raising our vibration, to remembering them as key players, really, as the element of fire, the element of wisdom, and as being part of the creative process. And I have 2 channels too, which I'm happy to share with you. I'm going to write this down so I don't forget next week. On the story of how, what happened, how they came to the earth, how they worked with the earth, then they went to sleep, when the earth fell, and now they're awake again and working. They're originally from the Orion system, and then a lot of them went to sleep in inner earth, I guess you would say. And you can look around now and you can see when something's emerging, because there's pictures of dragons, little statues of dragons, calendars with dragons. Same thing happened with dolphins about 10 years ago. Dolphins were on all the calendars and all the stores, the t-shirts, right? When the dolphins were starting to make contact with people, and now it's the dragons. So I'll tell you what I know, and it's up to you if you want to share it. I think that would be information that you would use with special clients, maybe. I wouldn't maybe do it with all the clients because people still have fear of dragons, and of course that's not what they want. But I will.
Yeah, if you allow me, may I share a little story with you, which was very interesting that you brought this up, like at the end of the first module. So the very first time, the very first class that we had when we started, like since that next day, the dragons have been showing up into my life through various paths. And I was like, this is very interesting because I had a relationship with them a while back. Like I didn't make the connection, but all of a sudden they're popping up in any different ways, like into my life, like showing me themselves once again. Like, what is their power? What is their purpose, like of coming back to earth again, like awakening exactly what you said, that fire, that passion, that authentic self that we all are ready to claim who we really are as divine beings.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very interesting because I had a couple of my partners that I already partner with, and they all know the stories, and we all had some kind of a connection with the dragons in any way or another. And it's very interesting because I start making the connection with my surname, because my maiden name before I converted into comms was actually Dragonova. And everybody in US was calling me the Dragon Lady, the Dragon Lady. And over the years, I've been kind of dragging them into my life through different ways. I'll have a picture or something. But anyway, long story short, since we started the school, they've been coming in all different ways. Like anybody I'll talk to, somebody's gonna bring it up. And I'm like, it just brings that joy into me. And because you mentioned it, and you mentioned it a couple of times, I was really interested of just to hear what was your experience or how you start like relating to them, connecting, because when you presented module 2, you basically mentioned them, like together with the whales and the dolphins.
Yeah. Well, there's a movie that I highly recommend called Whales and Dragons. That's it's in animated film with visionary art from Jean-Luc Bozzali. You can get it on his website. It's called I Within, E-I-E-Y-E Within, W-I-T-H-I-N, Whales and Dragons. And I was there when it premiered. It was a number of years ago. He's married to Joan Ocean. And, you know, he talked about it. And he said, when the dragons and the whales came to me together and asked me to make this film. And he said, no, I don't want to. And they said, no, we want you to. He said, I don't want to. And they said, why? They said, because people are afraid of dragons. And I don't want people to be afraid of my work, you know. I just work with the whales, you know, the dolphins. And they said, okay, well, if you do this film, you know, we'll help you with the next film, which is about bringing sacred architecture to Earth from the higher realms, like the Arcturian architectural plans and the way they build their buildings and the Lyran plans, because that's what he really wanted to do, and they knew it, you know, but there was no market for that. And so he said, okay, so he would do the film. It took him 5 years to draw, you know, all the stuff. It's amazing. And so now he is working on the film, and he has been for many years on the sacred architecture. It's not out yet, but it will be. I mean, he'll do it. This stuff is so advanced. We have some of his art in our PowerPoints. Maybe you remember the one with the Merkaba going into the rib and so forth. The one with the dolphin soul birthing it's the oversoul, but it's birthing a dolphin. That's his art. It's unique. Very, very unique.
I'm familiar with his art. I really like it. It really resonates with me. So, but it's very interesting something you said, because was coming through, like people are really afraid of the dragons because they were very high dimensional and people weren't prepared for them. And all of a sudden, you know, like as something very high, if you're not familiar, even sometimes the light scares us. So these messages that's been coming through, they're super cute actually. Since I've been connecting with them, they're super adorable, like almost like puppies. They're just so benevolent and so sweet, and they bring so much joy. I was really actually surprised to discover that for me, they bring as much joy as dolphins do. They're playful, they're a little bit like elemental type of energy.
I think they're gorgeous too.
Yeah,
I mean, I think they are. Buddha says that they're not scales, they're not reptilian, they're avians, and their body, it looks like scales, but it's feathers.
Wow.
They're actually very soft.
So when you say avian, what does it mean, avian?
That they're birds. Their species is a bird.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Thank you, because that's really connected.
Yeah, we'll make time for that next week. But you just made me think about to look at the calendar though. So just briefly, you know, in 2 weeks from today is our last class of module 2. And then you receive your last assignment, which will have 2 more weeks after that to complete it, which is, here's the calendar here. So last day of module 2 is March 7th. And then the homework will come in the weekend of the 20th. So internship effectively starts March 22nd. Once you've turned in your last homework and it's approved, you are then, you know, able to enter the internship program. And traditionally, I'm at your service, but traditionally we've met once a month and shared, you know, basically we work on each other. Also during internship, you'll be giving me a session, and I'll be your client, so I can critique and help you, and the group can help you. We just want to make each of you the best facilitator we can, practitioner. So you'll be able to start working on other people that will count towards your internship on March 22nd. And so I'm going to suggest that we meet 2 to 3 weeks into that. So you've got some clients under your belt. And I would start setting up those sessions now if I was you. You know, you want to work with 12 people minimum, but you know, the more you work on, the better you're going to be, the more fine-tuned you're going to be. And then some of those people will go on to become paid clients, and they'll refer you to their friends and family. That's how it starts. So let's see if we do 1 week here, 2 weeks. 3 weeks is right after Easter, actually. And I'm going to be gone that weekend. So what do you think? Would you like to meet, anticipating you're going to become an intern still in March? Like we could meet March 28th, or we could wait and go into April after Easter.
I say let's wait till after Easter.
Okay, anybody else want to vote after Easter? After Easter, okay.
Yeah.
So how about April 11th? Just want to get something on the calendar.
Sounds good.
I'll be out of town that weekend, but
An internship meeting will be about 3 to 4 hours. We won't put a cap on it, but it'll be, until you guys feel complete for whatever we're deciding to do that day. By then, you'll have lots of questions.
will
You're
those
setting
be-
up your websites, and
will those
you'll have turned in, paperwork. Also, all of your internship appointments will be recorded and put onto a flash drive that you'll ultimately send to the school. So we'll keep that. Everything will be recorded. So you want to start preparing for that if you haven't with a recorder. I think I've shown you mine multiple times, but I'll show you again. This is my preferred way too of doing session work, is using this. I like Zoom too, but Zoom, the quality of the sound and how it's controlled with the PowerPoints and all of that can be confusing. So, I pretty much mastered it now, but I like to record, download it into my computer, and send it to you guys through a file sharing, which you guys know is Hightail.
Lori, I have a question. It's
Sure.
Menno. When you use the recorder that you have, you also use your landline, right?
Yeah, it's speakerphone. I put it on
Okay.
speaker.
So for those, like for me, I just have a cell phone. That's it. So I'm better off doing it via Zoom, right?
Yeah, definitely. If you only have a cell phone, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
And it has the recording feature. So it's easy to save it, download it, pass it on. Good question. Anyone else?
So, Lori, once the internship starts, if we do a meeting on April 11th, will that be recorded because I'll be back east visiting grandchildren?
I will record it, yeah.
Weekend, so I would not be able to be on it. So, okay.
Yeah. The internship program too has been either 3 or 4 months. And once we start, you guys can vote. You can see. I won't go beyond 4 months though. I shouldn't say I won't. The whales won't. They set up the rules. So you'll want to start seeing like 2 clients a week, at least, once your internship program starts, to practice that. Okay, so you can start telling people now, I'm going to be graduating from this program and I'm going to be all certified and ready to go. And I want to, know if you want me to work on you. There will be no charge. And I'm going to bring you the whale healing and clearing and light body activations. We'll work with the dolphins. See if you can get them to set up 1 or 2 appointments with you now. That will be in April or May. Okay. So that you have that already kind of set up. You won't be scrambling for clients.
Lori, I have a question.
Sure.
So we have to do 12, but can one of those, does it have to be like 12 whale healings and clearings, or can it be?
It does, yes.
Okay.
But you're hoping that they'll go on and do more sessions with you.
Yes.
You're practicing for the real world. And after you've done a whale healing and clearing, then, you want to try to set up an appointment within a week or 2 for them to come back.
Okay. And then I wanted to ask, when you do the Zoom meetings with us and you're playing the meditations, do you have like a separate speaker that you're playing the sound from, or are you playing the sound like from a different?
I have a Bluetooth speaker that I use most. I have actually 2 or 3 of these. So it's better quality than my computer.
Okay, but it's sent from the computer to the speaker.
Yeah, I mean, I use the little recorder I showed you to record, and I put it right next to the speaker. I don't just use my computer speaker because it's a nice computer, but it's tinny, you know. I would invest in a nice speaker, maybe a Bose speaker, so you really have a deep, nice quality sound. That's another reason I like doing it on the phone.
Yeah.
Because I can control the quality of the sound. But Zoom is doing a good job. We really don't want to criticize them. I mean, they are. It's not as good as the way I'm describing it, but almost. Okay.
Okay, so like what you're describing doesn't work with a cell phone. You have to have a line.
Well, you could try with a cell phone, but you'd have to have a good cell phone and a really good speaker, and it's not as reliable because cell phones can cut out, you know. So,
but I guess Zoom cut out as well. I mean, I feel like we've had problems with the internet, and then it's slow. It's really, you know, on both ends we feel like we have good internet, but still it just keeps, it's
two things to think about getting, you know, a landline phone if you're going to work a lot, you know, in your area. Like I work a lot. My landline phone works in Canada and Mexico plan, all unlimited calls. So it's only when I'm doing international stuff that I use Zoom now.
Okay, but so you're speaking to someone on the phone, and then you have the speaker next to it with the music, and you put that up to the phone.
My landline phone is a speakerphone. It's a really good quality. I use it for radio shows and interviews. I mean, I have a very good quality landline phone. And
you don't put it up to the ear. You can just speak.
No, it's a speakerphone. It's I speak into it. Yeah. No, I don't hold the receiver. And then my little recorder, my digital recorder, I use to record the phone conversation and the meditations that are coming from my computer through my Bluetooth speaker through this one.
Yeah. Okay.
But my little recorder's sitting here in the middle between that speaker and my phone speaker. So, and it's good quality. Yeah. Maybe I'll just play something for you so you'll hear. If you decide to use that setup, you know, you'll probably like it. Let's see here. Let's go somewhere.
Yeah.
Reading the website again.
Well, oldies but goodies.
So not 1 million. Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I'm going to try. Best picture I could find to represent now, because people say, well, how does it work? Well, first question is, do you understand what the Merkaba is?
I have an understanding of it.
Okay, so it's another name for saying the light body. And the Merkaba actually exists in sacred geometry as 3 different star tetrahedrons. Yeah. So, you know, a double star tetrahedron basically is the Merkaba, and then there's 2 more embedded. I mean, there's actually 3, but you can only sort of see one with your visualization abilities, but there are actually 3. One spins counterclockwise, and one spins clockwise, and one doesn't spin at all. And so the 3 different double star tetrahedrons make up the Merkaba. So the whale Merkaba comes down around your house, which is happening right now. It's huge, bigger than your house. It starts to spin. And when it spins to counterclockwise with the Earth, it starts to spin out the lower energies or negative contracts or emotional blocks that you have. And again, this is all in coordination with your higher self. The one that spins to the right, clockwise, brings in the celestial light of the angels and immediately replaces whatever's been cleared by the other Merkaba. Happens all simultaneously. Mm-hmm. And it happens in multidimensional realms in all lifetimes, not just Earth.
Okay. So you can tell where I'm at. I'm on PowerPoint number 1, and I'm describing how the whale healing works with the purple slide where you're standing in the center holding hands. That's the best slide in the whole PowerPoint to show them. So what did you think of the sound?
It was pretty good.
Okay.
It was a little bit squishy at the beginning, but it was okay.
And then there's going to be a little bit of variance in their phone too, with the phone they're using. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the sound actually sounds much better on Zoom from you.
Okay. This is why we're doing this, so you all can have your different opinions.
Yeah. Lori, I would like to share something.
Yeah.
What I find that helps for me, I have an older laptop. It's about like 8 years old. And I'm using Zoom only. And I found by different feedbacks that when I was doing sessions, the sound was horrible. So then from Amazon, I bought this external mic. It's about $100 and it makes such a difference. It's amazing. So you just plug it in on the side of your laptop and you use that. So this is what I use now. It's really, really good.
Nice. What's it called?
It's Fifine, Fifine microphone, external microphone.
I should write this down in case people ask. Say it one more time, or maybe type it into the chat room.
Okay. Yeah, I'll type it in.
Fifine.
And NE. Fifine. Yes, Fifine. Fifine. I'll write it down.
So, yeah, so this is the reason we can all share.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
So when you play even the sound from your computer, you still use the microphone?
The microphone in it, it's an external mic. So I just plug it in. And when people hear me, they can hear me a lot better than if I don't have a microphone at all. So this is going by feedback that I've been receiving when I give sessions. So I decided to buy this. It's like $100 from Amazon, Canadian. And it makes a big, big difference.
But what about with the voice, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
But this is just for the voice.
Yes, it's when I speak, so other people can hear me much, much better. Because in my laptop, I have like an old, the sound card is not that great in my laptop. So maybe yours will be better. I don't know. But at least when I speak, people will be able to hear me much, much better this way.
And this is through Zoom. She's talking.
Correct. Yes, because I don't have a landline. So.
What about meditations on the mic?
Meditation, I actually recorded one through Zoom, and it took me about at least 10 or 11 tries because the sound, you have to play around with the sound quite a bit. But finally, on the 10th or 11th try, it was decent. It's not perfect. I don't have a recording studio, but it's good enough, you know.
Good.
So what about when you play the music? How does that work? Because I feel like that was Reina was asking.
It's not bad. Like when I play the music, obviously it doesn't go through my this external mic. It goes through my laptop, and it's okay. I mean, obviously, if I really get going with a business, then I will invest more. But
well,
for now,
and Zoom is constantly improving too.
Yes, it is.
They have raised the quality of the sound considerably since a year ago. It's a lot better than it used to be. It used to be kind of tinny. So I think we can expect it to just get better because it's so mainstream now. I just want to comment on, in the chat room, someone typed in, whales are multidimensional. You can say that. Yes, of course. How else could they come to you and descend over your home? And, same with the dolphins. I mean, they're the epitome of multidimensionality. They're existing in many places at the same time, which is, of course, something that we do too. It's just that we don't have the consciousness of it.
Yeah, that was just in reference to Castilia's earlier question about the person who's said he or she was like 7th dimension. Do they still need healing? And I'm like, well, she can go by it that way if she wanted to. They're multidimensional, so
yeah,
wouldn't really matter where that person thinks they are or are not, because it's multidimensionality.
We're going to start in the manual here in a minute, but I wanted to show you. Yeah, Andaras did arrive. You guys are going to be the first to see him. And this one, unfortunately, is not for sale. It's one of the more rare crystals I've ever seen. And it's lavender, which is super rare. But look at that. I just have to show you. So at lunchtime, I will show you what I have. It has 2 orbs in it too. You can see the orbs? I'll turn this way. See that? It's like a little house, little pyramid. But I have one other lavender one, and I will show it at lunchtime. It's going to cost $4 a gram, but and only one, unfortunately, but it's really rare. And then I have a lot of other beautiful ones. It finally came, but it's just sitting here. I have it sitting on my computer because it's so sweet. I hardly ever buy them anymore, but that one's going to be in my family now for a while. I have to show it off. Okay, unless there's more questions, we're going to go to the manual and absorb some more wisdom. I'm pretty sure we're on page 44, but I would like someone to validate that.
Yes, the 44, Lori.
The hidden youth template?
Yes.
Okay. For a very long time, science has wondered if the body retains the original blueprint when you were conceived that creates a human being from a tiny embryo. Could it actually be that this blueprint still exists within us? Cryon says it does, and that a science will find it soon. He even labeled it in a previous channeling the Genesis cell. However, we can use this youth template now. Is this too odd to be true? Why should it still exist? Isn't the body done with it? Cryon asks, when you build something really exceptional, do you throw away the blueprints? Even if it's only built once, don't you toss the plans that made it? The answer is no. There are really good reasons to keep the blueprint of original human development. Part of this is exactly what this channel speaks of. We need it to repair and rejuvenate the new human
Question
in a new energy.
Questions for you. One is I just stocked up.
So that was the bottom of page 44 for anybody that's confused. Okay, did someone have a question?
I don't have it.
No? Okay. All right. Page 45. Let's have a reader. Who'd like to read?
Read.
Okay, Robert, thanks.
Ascension codes. Now is the time to receive the ascension codes from the source of all light. Connect with your consciousness to the tones of creation from the ancient whales and dolphins who sing the songs of creation. They are activating the planetary DNA and will continue to assist you in creating your light body. And this is channeled by Judith Moore.
She's the one I told you about. We'll be working with her channels when we talk about the dragons next week. She's amazing, amazing soul. Go ahead, Robert.
Message from Joan Ocean. The dolphins are masters of frequency. They know how to send specific sounds to stun certain fish, to navigate in the water, to locate and talk to each other, to identify coral reefs, to recognize people they have not previously met. I'm sorry. To recognize people they have met previously. Yeah. To create holographic images and geometric glyphs, to assist each and so much more. They live in a world of frequencies, and it is their primary means of communication, navigation, sensory perception, and protection. When we meet the dolphins, and often the pilot whales, we experience the power of the group mind. Acoustic imagery, healing, dolphin bubble art, telepathy, time travel, and the joy of accepting ourselves as multidimensional beings. We access paths of illumination when our light bodies resonate in harmony with theirs. This is the gift of the dolphins for humanity. Joining together in an ocean of love, we remember our connection to each other and all life. A gentle bonding occurs as we swim as a pod. We share life experiences with the dolphins, communicate with the celestials, and feel surrounded by the beauty of nature. Inspiration and new directions become clear. Great changes occur in subtle and magnificent ways.
Beautiful.
Dolphins and healing. The dolphins are one of the only species that shows advanced intelligence and an ability to rapidly evolve. Over the years, many humans have observed an innate gentleness from the dolphins. Much study is being done outside of the whale and dolphin energy light medicine school that continues to prove that dolphins have a mysterious power to trigger healing process in humans. Amanda Green, a marine biologist, is studying the therapeutic field that dolphins generate. She believes that their sonar or echolocation plays a part in this process. There is evidence that dolphins trigger the healing process in humans by boosting the production of T cells and endorphins. After patient and dolphin interactions, scientists have measured a far greater harmony between the left and right sides of the brain. He informs that dolphins produce an intense amount of echolocation energy, which resonates in the bones, such as the skull and the sternum, and then travels up to the spine. Further evidence shows that a dolphin's sonar causes a phenomenon called cavitation inside the soft body tissue of the human body. It precipitates a ripping apart of the molecules. So if sonar does that with cellular membranes, it can completely change the biomolecular structure. Similarly, many hospitals use lithotripsy machine that uses low-frequency sound waves to break up kidney stones and gallstones. The physics of that machine are no different than a dolphin sonar. When you encounter a wild dolphin in open waters, something breaks open the conditioned seals of your heart. The dolphin pulls you into their energy field and offers you a feeling of acceptance and unconditional love. This leads to a profound inner peace that reaches out to embrace the universe. In scientific terms, this is known as biophilia. It is the transformative power that links you to nature, and going by recent research, dolphins could be the most powerful carriers of this emotion. And this is an excerpt from Amanda Green.
Okay, nice comments.
Oh yeah, I like that.
It's a little bit more science that's happening, and Amanda's done quite a bit of research on this and starting to understand the scientific part of how the sonar and how the tonality that comes out of the dolphin is so profound. You know, the part they don't understand is how the hologram comes back, but you know, ultimately, how the dolphin sees in a holographic image.
I mean, probably the same way we do, because we're living in a hologram. Plus, when people use those VR goggles, I mean, they see.
Yeah, well, at least we have an understanding of it's possible, right? To see holographically or to see interdimensionally too. Yeah, see, some people can see into the future, you know, those parts of our body are coming online. All right, let's have a volunteer reader for our quantum connection. I'd like to read.
I can keep reading if anyone else wants to.
No, I appreciate that. I'm just like to share.
I can read, Lori.
Okay, thanks,
Georgia.
Jen.
Okay, so our quantum connection to the whales and dolphins. Have you ever asked yourself why humanity has such an affinity for the dolphins and the whales? They open the hearts of everyone who connect with them. When you look at a picture of a dolphin, do you find yourself smiling? Did you know that over 80 countries all over the world have created laws to protect the cetaceans? Even countries that have no physical oceans on their borders have joined the global population, offering protection to our friends in the sea. The collective consciousness of humanity wants to protect the whales and dolphins and keep them safe. The truth is, the human cellular structure and your DNA knows that the whales and dolphins represent a significant special part of the earth. The whales and dolphins are living portions of the grid system. They are actually living embodiments of the library containing the history of Earth's evolution. The actual Akashic record systems are stored within the consciousness of the whales. The whales can access your personal soul's information or Akashic records, as they are the living molecular librarians for Earth. Thousands of people have reported that they have had life-changing experiences after a whale and dolphin boat trip or swim with dolphins. The reason we are so changed by their energy is that our cellular information is aligned and upgraded in their presence. This is because the dolphins have calibrated your DNA and you have had a consciousness shift in their presence. Human DNA is also a part of the grid system for Gaia. The evolution of the human species is reflected in your DNA. The whales and dolphins access this information as stewards for Gaia and the Earth. They sing to coordinate energies that are within the crystalline grid system, and they change your vibration and essence when you connect. So there is an intuitive part of every human that knows the importance of the cetaceans on our planet. That part of you knows what the dolphins and the whales cannot be eliminated without changing the life force balance of the earth, and therefore you. So when you request a personal alignment, when you tap into the inner part of you that speaks loudly of your connection to the dolphins and whales, you are connected to them and they to you, and we are all connected to Gaia herself. Our energies are intertwined from the moment of creation and our emergence into physical form. The dolphins teach us that our human DNA is like a radio receiver for sounds. The dolphins and whales easily access the DNA and the codes within you through sound and intention. We predict that there will come a day when the human will sing and intuitively project the correct sounds to the cetaceans of the earth. The dolphins and whales will see it as structured language that they have been expecting. They will respond back to us in great alignments. Healing and breakthroughs will occur for the humans. This information shared is intuitive. We are approaching the time when this quantum energy will come forward through our quantum intellect. We have already discovered that there are only two types of DNA on the planet that is structured for quantum intellect, the human being and the cetacean.
It's an incredible piece of information, really, to discover that, you know, really incredible. Because they came first, you know, in history, in the sense of who they are, they've shared with me multiple times that they came to set up the frequencies and the earth that would prepare for humans to come later on. And of course, a lot happened. The earth was destroyed more than once, and ultimately they were walking upright on the planet when the last test came and they were going to be evacuated. And they told their team, no, we're going to go into the water and we're going to see if we can survive the blast that will come, you know, the bombs or whatever will come. And we'd rather try that than be evacuated this time. Again, understanding the power of reincarnation. If they were to die, that they could always reincarnate and come back. And it worked. They went into the ocean. They did survive. They became over time then aquatic beings. Everything evolved over time where they could be mammals in the water now. And they still retain their 5 fingers, of course, and their pectoral fins and their 10 toes. But they're definitely aquatic now. So I'm going to play a little piece now from, how many know who Dr. Todd Ophakaides is? He's part of the Cryon team that he's been written about. He's considered in the history of the world the first human. And he continues to reincarnate always as a very valuable scientist. In this lifetime, he's created the cure for AIDS. In our country, really, at that time, they were trying to kill him. They didn't want him to reveal it because, you know, it was a cash cow, basically, for pharmaceutical and so forth. He took the cure to Africa, and then now he's taken the cure for heart disease to Russia because our country won't receive it. Anyway, he's in the metaphysical world. He's remembered the Pleiadian language over time and created what we call the Pleiadian tones. And over a period of 10 years, you would go to Maui and he would float with the whales. And I don't know if you know, but the males are the singers in the humpback whale world, and they float upside down when they sing their songs of creation and their mating calls, so forth. And so I thought it would be fun for you to hear him. He has reproduced what he calls the pineal tones in choirs all over the world to activate parts of the earth that have been dormant. They were called the nulls and the nodes. And that's been going on since 2012. And there will be a final choir that will be February 22nd, 2022 in Maui, where we go back to where we started into Lemuria. And there will be one more choir. I'm going to be a part of that. And if you're interested, I can give you the information on that. But Dr. Todd is the director of all of that. And it's a good friend. he thinks that Puda is very, very interesting. He's actually studied her a little bit and how she does her healing work. He believes that she moves people's stem cells when she lies on you, that she accelerates the stem cells to the right area of the body, and that she has a contract with the whales to do this work together with them. But anyway, I think that one of the most interesting things that he's accomplished in his life is he's learned what he would call 3 different sets of languages that the whales sing all over the world, and is fairly good at interpreting what the whales are saying and has learned to sing their songs. So I'm going to play a little bit for you. It'll blow you away. If you didn't know it was a human, yeah, you wouldn't know. I guess is what I'm trying to say. You really wouldn't know unless someone told you, because that's how good he is. So
What's his name again?
Dr. Todd Ovokides. It's spelled okay, let's see. O-V-Y.
On the PowerPoint number 1.
He's on PowerPoint number 1? Yeah, that's right. He worked with Dr. Emoto. Yeah, his name is there. Yeah. It's a long name, Ovokides. Yeah, PowerPoint number 1. Thanks. Okay, Dr. Todd at 22 minutes starts to sing the whales here.
Level 1.
This is the choir I was telling you about, but let's see.
Oh.
Pretty cool.
Lori, is
Hold
that
on.
something that we can purchase or not?
I believe you can now. Yeah, the Lemurian Choir. It's a double CD thing. I think there's a picture in one of the PowerPoints. Isn't there of the choirs?
Mm-hmm.
The first choir was 900 people, and we sang a cappella. Here, I'll share one more thing with you. The Palladian tones were sung, half by the red choir, half by the gold choir, and again with intention to help the earth and all various things. Let's see. Can't talk and do. Some of them were very complex. Some were very simple. This one was simple. Did you get the idea?
Cycle 1, pair 3.
What it would be like
Red
to listen to
choir,
them
level
for
9.
healing,
Gold choir, level 3.
And again, there is one more opportunity in a year to be in Okay, so that's one choir, and the other ones, let's try here. Okay, so now I'm going to let you hear when they're sung together. They're paired. Anyway, the essence of it was that we first had an agreement that was 26,000 years old to sing on the December 12th, 2012, to the Pleiadians, signifying to them that we were awake, we've remembered the language, we remembered the celebration we used to do annually with them, and we would, sing to them, basically saying, hello, we're awake now. And that's what the Pleiadian tones originally were developed for. Then they started to be connected to the earth, and the nulls and the nodes, which you can read about, which now all 12 pairs are activated, which were time capsules that were put into the earth by the Pleiadians, not from the past, but for the future. And if we reached a certain vibration, then the Pleiadians would put information into the time capsules that would be released into the earth, and then ultimately for humanity. And that now has been in effect for, 10 years, or will be 10 years. So it's amazing. There was also one with Dolphin language. I'll let you hear a little bit of that, which is really fun to sing the Dolphin language. And the Dolphins encourage us to do it. So
4, pair 2.
Skip up here. We'll go back a little bit. Play already. So it has to catch up here. Well, maybe I have to start at the beginning.
Cycle 4, pair 2. Red choir, level 23. Gold choir, level 24. Okay, here we go. We're singing together.
So this is kind of off the pattern of what, we're basically doing with whale and dolphin energy, but it'll give you an idea of the different types of healing that's available. And the dolphins and whales have clearly said to Dr. Todd and to me that they want us to start using our language to pattern their language. And there'll come a time when we'll have an understanding of how to do that if we practice. So a lot of people are just naturally good at it. I have a couple of friends in Hawaii that are really good at the dolphin language. Not too many people are really good at the whale language, though, without practicing. And it's done from the back of the throat. It sounds like he's doing this like that with the tongue. He's not. He's doing it in the back of the throat. So it's harder than it sounds. But if that's something that interests you, let me know. I'll send you the links. I'm definitely going to be going. And then my retreat next year, finally, I'll get a Hawaiian retreat back. We've gone 11 years in a row to Hawaii, to the different islands, to have a physical retreat, to swim with the dolphins and be with the whales. And so next year, it will be the week after the Pleiadian choir in Maui. So we'll be with the whales, and we'll probably take 4 boat trips. And so I'm planning ahead because I can't have it right now. It's kind of exciting. So comments or questions about all of that? Mainly, I wanted you to hear that humans can sing the whale. I mean, we're not all Dr. Todd, of course. He's the one also that created the healing machines that you read about in history, in Lemuria, rejuvenation, were anti-aging machines. And now all of his products, he has a company called Gematria that are all about anti-aging and reversing different diseases through various, natural model, all natural. So he's really something, and such a wonderful friend. Ama Prima.
I was just going to say, that was really awesome. Those
Yeah.
sounds. And the last one was really similar to a hymn of the Cathars.
Really?
Yeah, which I'll actually post in the chat so that people can hear it if they want, because it's very similar sort of balances and things. And the other thing I just wanted to say is I hope Robert won't mind me talking about this, but I was working with him just now and in the last pairing, and his voice is extraordinary, and it was absolutely aligned with the whale sounds. He's able to just mirror the whale sounds incredibly. So
beautiful.
Say that, Robert, because it was really good.
Did you know that, Robert?
Hey, I'm trying to stay under the radar here, okay?
Right now.
No, I wasn't aware of it. I was I had been told by one of the whale and dolphin messages that I got with one of my other partners was to start doing toning work, which I used to go outside every morning and do Om 108 times.
Wow.
But we've just had some construction done in the backyard. I will start returning to that soon. But apparently I have a lot of this isn't my first rodeo, so I have a lot of things I'm still starting to rediscover. That being one of them.
Well, we're all discovering more gifts, and of course we're combining our gifts with the whales and dolphins, so that's powerful. Anyway, that was a little side trip into something that is so out of the box, that I've done, and amazing. I love Dr. Don. Okay, let's have a volunteer to read bottom of page 48. I'd like to read. Jen.
Prion prediction. The dolphins and the whales easily access the codes within you and your DNA through sound and intention. We predict that there will come a day when the human will sing and intuitively project the correct sounds to the cetaceans of the earth. The dolphins and whales will see it as structured language that they have been expecting. They will respond back to us, and great alignments, healing, and breakthroughs will occur for the humans. This information is intuitive, as we are approaching the time when this quantum energy will come forward through our quantum intellect. Ryan.
Nice. Do you want to read more?
The Aquarian language systems activate the whale dolphin codes in the DNA in the language of limitless love. I open to the Aquarian masters of light. All is ready now. The time is at hand. The great cosmic clocks calibrate the equations of light for the manifestation of new dimensions of consciousness in the earth realm. The 1 and the 13 is the essential formula of the Melchizedek code, which from the solid geometric forms of the 12, the 13 is the unified principle. The earth grid is ready now, as each of the Aquarian doorways of light has opened, coming together in the 13, like a serpent biting its tail, completing the earth grid points on a cosmic clock. You might call this the 13th hour. Now all is readied for the outpouring of light from the cosmos through the Aquarian doors of light that is the Aquarian light. The Aquarian light has a dimension of light that carries the vibration from the living hologram of Earth, unknown in human history because it is expansive itself. You may call it the light of infinity. Prepare now to celebrate this new dimension of light. The whales and dolphins gather in pods and send messages of love to you in your human pod wherever you are. This prepares the DNA to open in the crystal realm to a new dimension of light languages that bring forth the highest ideals and the purest principles of light and love known in the human experience. You are the ones who have prepared the way and have been initiated. Each time you think of a whale, that is because a whale has called you. Each time you think loving thoughts of the dolphins, it is because of a pod of dolphins somewhere feels your vibration and responds to the harmony of your light. This is an expression of love. Humans must learn to be sensitive to each other and their vibration and their frequencies. You will learn to respond when you feel the energy of another soul with loving vibration. Multitudes of cetaceans have come onto the planet. Each dolphin is focused, communicating from their high intelligence in their language system to their consciousness of your God self, the codes of light that create the new language systems for the Aquarian age. Language systems are ways to express love that manifest and co-create through dimensions of consciousness that are not merely words, but libraries of wisdom. Have you ever sat with a very wise old grandma as she speaks gently, but she doesn't say everything? She speaks simply, but you feel so much love that it's truly a magical experience. This is because she is speaking in a loving dimension of light in the language of love. And in the human experience, bitter words have no substance, but the language of love is the harmony of wisdom. When you were young, someone may have said to you, "Say what you mean and mean what you say." How much of humanity has lost the capacity to communicate their actual feelings? How many people are able to explain their principles, to speak their truth in a way that inspires the liberation of light? There are those who have come to you as messengers. When they speak, they inspire the multitudes to know the higher meaning, the ideology of being human. These messengers bring a promise of liberation and a hope for a better world. Now the opportunity opens for multitudes of humans to receive the codes of light from the dolphin languages and the waves of vibration from the whales of creation, that all of humanity may know the joy of conscious communication and be able to truly manifest from their heart to the language systems of the Aquarian age. These language systems are dialects in every single language on the planet. There is only one language. It is the Aquarian language of love. It is spoken from the heart. You need not be a linguist to understand it. You can sit with another human that speaks a foreign language and feel it. Feel it and know that you are one. Truly, in the nature of creation, these language systems are tones of light. The Aquarian language systems that are referred to in this message are building blocks for the Aquarian hologram. The materials have been prepared through the opening of the Aquarian doors of light, and now Now these light structures must be organized into sacred geometries that are sound harmonic principles in the consciousness of love. It is these, beloved ones, these masters who have come upon the earth and have been born of dolphin and whale pods. The new whale babies and the new dolphins incarnate from a place of pure love. All whales and dolphins are loving beings, but these masters have come upon the earth with special capacities to communicate light principles of creation to you, from their pod to you, to your heart. Open in these days of light and simply affirm, I am ready to experience a new dimension of love that is limitless. How beautiful the world is as I look upon it with love. Join us. We are here sending out a promise that is already fulfilled. For by creation's plan, it is time. All is ready. Open your heart. The Aquarian ray has come upon the planet now, opening up new dimensions in your DNA that communicate this limitless love and capacities to experience creation as newborn souls with the wisdom of all that your soul has experienced. This message is communicated through the Omni mind of wisdom of the universe, joyously to the heart and to the soul of Gaia herself and the living body of the new earth. Be as you are, children of light, vessels of limitless love, and to know the age of grace appears on the horizon and celebrate it with the sunrise of these Aquarian days. Be blessed and go forth and prosper, that the nations shall be fed with this love, and rise to celebrate the time of the coming of the great age of Aquarius. I encourage each of you to look up the wisdom of the Master Cat Buddha through Lori Rayon. Know that we are a pod, and that our hearts will beat in rhythm with yours as we are all over the globe, because we are a community of light, preparing the way for these exciting times. Welcome, welcome, and blessed be. The Aquarian Masters of Light through Judith K. Moore.
Nice. Thank you so much. Comments or questions? You get a sense of the magnificence of Judith's work. It's just, she's so, I don't even have words. I've known her for, I don't know, I think 2010. Yeah. And she continues to blow me away with her great wisdom and her channeling abilities. You know, she's a universal channel. And it's also a great joy to see her with Buddha because they, you know, intuitively know each other so well. So, okay, let's finish up this paragraph, perception, belief, and awareness.
Okay, you want me to read that?
Yeah.
Perception, belief, and awareness. Greg Braden teaches us that we are still living in a 3D world that primarily believes that conflict, chaos, and disease are a product of our genes. Our economy, education, and healthcare are still functioning with the old view of competition, or survival of the fittest, as the way of life. However, we now know that self-esteem and empowerment can only integrate when we are no longer led down an old path that does not work. Greg predicts that everyone on the planet is now or will soon face a crisis in their body. The impending crisis we each face will allow us the opportunity to have an accelerated awakening and hopefully make new and positive choices. This is a reflection of the karma we have accumulated during past times that simply cannot go into the new world. The mechanism of awakening we each are experiencing is the key to contemporary mysticism. We must return to nature and to the indigenous ways of living in harmony with our planet. This is the wisdom of choice, not chance. We must remove the feeling of isolation and separation. Epigenetics is proving that DNA is our roadmap, not the product of our evolution. We now know we can write our own roadmaps to the future.
Nice. I should put his name there too. That was Greg Braden. Okay, we're going to take a short break. 15 minutes and come back, work a little bit more in the manual. All right, so enjoy your break. We're back after the break, and we are on page 52 of our manual. So who would like to read? To volunteer. Mm-hmm.
I'll read.
Okay, thanks, Sarah.
Activating your DNA. Let us move into sacred space, connecting to our higher selves, energizing our connection to our master guides, and surrendering our energy now to the master healers on the planet, the whales and dolphins. We turn our attention first to Master Seth as a channel for programming your energy and activating your dormant DNA. Taking in a deep breath, there has never been a more important or powerful time to choose to immerse ourselves in change. The planet is changing, and we are changing. I will start by telling you that the old world of duality and linear existence is changing very rapidly. In our recent past, the planet has been protected by an electromagnetic grid that postures our duality and even our gravity. As vibrations rise and the Earth takes on a higher vibration, humans are asked to shift with the planet. The crystalline grid is now in place and is a mirror for the vibration of humanity as we morph from a water-based being gently into a crystalline being. The crystalline grid around the planet is based on compassion and love and supports the shifts and changes we are making. Over 35% of the old electromagnetic grid has dematerialized and will continue to degrade. It is appropriate that we are released from a linear and polarized world very gently into one that supports love and true emotion. Love is the emotion in its myriad forms that we want to integrate and live within. As we observe these changes and acknowledge the potentials, we are witnessing a merging of dimensions and timelines. These changes move Earth into a trajectory of energy that catalyzes the highest potential for humanity. This creates a monumental potential for each individual human and the collective to connect to their souls. This connection offers an opportunity for amazing transformation. It is time to propel yourself through your intention into this time I speak of with great initiations and great potential. For those who choose, you can now access a higher potential for yourself. It can propel you now into a timeline that supports you in your dreams and your ability to manifest them. This means you can access a morphogenetic field of energy that supports your highest preferences in a way that was not possible before. Our intention behind this message is to alert you that this is the perfect time to do a deep clearing of your mind, of your body, and even your spirit, choosing to release that which does not serve you and forgive all that was created in your life that was created outside of love. In truth, there is no more time to wait and ride out the toxic energy in your life that was created through negative choices. We have all said and done things that we are not proud of in hindsight, but never has there been a more important time to use the power and gifts that are given to forgive yourself and all others. In choosing to let go, you can clear all of your 4 bodies and restore yourself with divine light. It's time to examine that which is blocking you with clarity and compassion. Are you ready to release all that is limiting you and all that no longer serves you? This is an important piece in claiming a higher vibration that aligns with the planet's shifts. There is a part of each human that is complacent and very challenged with change. That is the part we are asking you to be willing to be with now, so that it can be brought to the surface and you can choose again. Think about something you want to change within yourself. Think about something that you desire that would benefit you that you do not yet have. Now think about literally walking around an obstacle that is blocking you from having what you want, as opposed to trying to climb over it. The current energy on our planet supports you and the positive changes you want to make. In other words, your soul, which is the eternal part of you that is never fully embodied here on earth, wants to guide you and support you in your physical body. However, here in earth, there is the gift of free will, where the physical part of you makes the decisions that allow change to happen. I am here to remind you that all of this is a personal choice, and when you look at it in the mirror, it is the choice of true self-love. I ask you now, are you willing to self-actualize your personal intentions and abilities in this way? Are you ready to make decisions that move you into higher preferences in this lifetime? In essence, we are asking you to remember that all life is part of a genetic code. So if you want real change in your body and in your life, you have to give permission for your DNA to shift to access your greater potentials. Science has validated that there are 2 visible strands of DNA that are coded with the letters A, G, C, and T. These codes repeat 3.1 billion times in every single cell of your body. You have approximately 75 trillion cells, so that is a lot of code. If you were to type out this code, it would go around the planet 5,000 times. I share this so you can appreciate the unique body that you can inhabit with its amazing complexities and potentials. I also tell you that in truth, there are 12 strands of DNA in your body, much of which science has no instrumentation or consciousness yet to discover and embrace. Within each strand of DNA are 12 substrands, all coded for your greatest good. Within each substrand of DNA, there are telomeres. The telomeres are tuned vibrationally to you, to your choices, to your environment. They are the determining force for healing and how your body ages. When you choose emotions that are happy and grateful, your telomeres naturally extend and you age well. Science has even proven that the telomeres extend naturally in a human that is in service to others. Human DNA studies have also shown that when the human stops participating in some type of service and is generally not happy in their lives, the telomeres naturally stop extending and dividing and the person ages. Out of these truths, the science of epigenetics was born, and it has now been proven that we are not predisposed to our parents' or family's DNA. Free will choice, environment, and the creation of living a happy and healthy life is the key to longevity, happiness, and your human DNA awakening. The vibration of choosing joy and happiness and fun are the true keys that you want to use. Where is your fun factor today? In our work, we see the truth from higher consciousness outside of the linear 3D world to understand the 12-stranded DNA human. In our work, we have observed that there are beings right now on the planet that vibrate higher than humans. These beings we speak of do not have a human form, and they are not part of the karmic wheel. They do not participate in duality, having a world of potential judgment with right and wrong. They live in a place of pure love and joy where their choices are naturally loving and healing. Their lives translate into service to the greater good, and they live in total transparency. I am speaking of a super sentient species of dimensional doctors that are not human. The beings that I am describing can help you heal and align your energy very quickly. I am describing an ancient species of mammals that we call the dolphins. It is my intention to connect you to the dolphins in our world. The dolphins live in every ocean, and they are the ambassadors of love and healing in our world. However, in their soul energy, they also exist in the etheric and can come to you right now, energetically, in a matter of seconds. All you have to do to connect is ask. The planetary dolphin family is an ascended race. They have 30 million years of experience to share with us. They have no karma or anything left to learn here on Earth. They simply have come to serve us. Having no other purpose, they represent where humanity is going and also where we have come from. I believe that humanity is dearly loved by God, or that which we call Source. Everything we need to support ourselves was already here when humanity first arrived on Earth. The Earth is completely supported through the nature and animal kingdoms. This includes the dolphins, who are lovingly dedicated to humanity. They can greatly assist us in multi-dimensional realms of healing, alignment, and expansion. In our true beingness, we are creatures of great love and compassion.
Pardon me.
When we turn to that higher part of ourselves, it is much easier to remember our friends who live in the stars and who now live in the oceans of planet Earth. And before we begin this process I speak of helping you connect and activate your DNA, let me say that it is easy to find multiple stories of people that have been assisted and healed in the presence of dolphins. We are told that many years into our future, we will find that the path of service is all that there truly is, as an expression of the highest form of love. The dolphins are emissaries of love some 30 million years into our future. They have chosen to return to Earth with their evolved gifts, simply to be ambassadors and way-showers. It is their heartfelt intentions to share their gifts with us, bringing us healing and great joy. So today, we're going to connect directly to the planetary dolphin family. Give yourself permission for this. You can receive these attunements directly from the dolphin group consciousness. They are masters of DNA recalibration and are able to shift old energies very quickly with their healing frequencies. Take a deep breath and feel into that energy. They also work in a frequency, as we've said, of joy and playfulness that is perfectly suited to the energy of ascension and the new earth. The dolphins say, "Beloved humans, please listen to your hearts as you call upon us. We are the chosen emissaries of light. Our communications will be of valuable assistance in helping you align with the crystalline grid system, your personal DNA upgrades, and the Dolphin matrix systems that are assisting in creating the center for the new Earth. Currently, there are many experts saying the DNA plays a powerful role in our newly discovered communications between dolphins and humans. There is an ongoing study that is through the Sirius Institute in Hawaii that reveals that dolphins and whales actually receive and transmit sound signals that are capable of affecting the human genetic double helix. They use natural biotechnology that can heal you, swimming near you, or even just coming to you etherically. The word they use is sonogenetics. Originally, the expression of DNA was considered the blueprint of life, but it wasn't known until recently that DNA can actually be changed by the sounds and electromagnetic fields generated by dolphins. New research shows that DNA is activated by waves and particles of energized sound and light that literally switch your genes on or off. Likewise, your genetic inheritance is energetically transmitted via bioacoustic and electromagnetic energy. This process works through the water molecules that form the electromagnetic matrix of DNA, as we are all in our water-based bodies. These hydroelectric structures are shaped like the plutonic solids, including pyramids, hexagons, pentagons, and know that these sacred geometric forms direct the healing processes. Remember to call on the dolphins and ask for their assistance in creating a healthy, happy, and joyful life. They need your permission to assist you. Namaste. I am Seth, and we are the Dolphins. Channeled by Lori Rayon.
Thank you. A lot of information. Take a deep breath. Okay, how's that feel? Questions, comments? More wisdom around the principle that's being described, both scientifically and spiritually. You guys are quiet today.
I have some questions, Lori.
Okay, awesome.
So, can you be in service and still charge money?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, money is abundance. And what is abundance? Anybody?
Love.
Yeah, in its true form, it's a calculated form
it's
of
energy exchange
of energy. Exactly, it's a calculated form of how we choose to exchange energy. As long as it's not, money isn't used. Okay, so money isn't evil or bad. It's the way some people or organizations or corporations use money that has given it the evil tint, right? Because they're greedy and they don't use it in alignment with what we would call integrity. Like maybe some of their employees work very, very hard to make them a lot of money and there's not an equal profit sharing among the employees. Other people just lie, they're just greedy. And they hoard money because of their own fear of being on earth, I guess. The people that are greedy, that have fear are certainly struggling with the spiritual principle that they are God and that they can manifest anything and that we're cared for, we'll always have the right amount of everything at the right time. And that it's not necessary to stockpile or to put things away for a rainy day because, well, technically speaking, there won't be anything that we can't handle. And I'm not saying don't have any food stored in your freezer or anything like that. I'm not going to that extreme. I'm just saying, for the most part, light workers are always in the right place at the right time. And we always have the intuition of what to put away, what to have in your closet or your food pantry. So that, inclement weather would come, that you would have plenty of food to supply yourself with. But service itself, that is why we're here. We're here to support each other. And when I do something for you or you do something for someone else or so forth, that's an act of service. And it's an act of bringing love and sharing to a situation where that was not there before. Imagine how difficult life would be if you had to do everything alone and we didn't share. It'd be really hard, wouldn't it? And when we all put our gifts together, then we can create these beautiful communities of light where someone's dealing with the food, someone's dealing with education, someone's dealing with just the simple stuff of like, who's going to cut the grass, It's all about finding your niche, in the community that you live within. And of course, there's many levels of
when
community.
I was a teenager and I was pretty depressed, and then I went to a psychologist and it didn't help. But then I started working at a nursing home, and that just completely changed. I just to take care of these old people that really needed me, and just to see how happy they became by being near me, it just completely shifted me, and it actually brought me on the path of opening up something bigger than just my 3D world. So that was, but obviously I was paid there, but yeah.
Well, don't ever feel bad about receiving, I'm going to say, some type of abundance for the work that you do in the world. It's the giving and the receiving again that makes everything work. Sometimes we choose to gift someone with an act of service, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But the reality is it's mostly a give and take of energy, and money is that form that we choose to use as energy to exchange. So as long as it's used in a benevolent way, an expansive way, a fair way, then it's wonderful. It allows us to function in our society. Yeah. Many ways to serve. It involves, opening the door for someone or buying them lunch or gifting someone with, something that you've chosen to purchase for them, and just give them a beautiful gift. It involves the gift of your time when you choose to do that as well. But
or being a mother.
Yeah, right. We don't necessarily get financial abundance for caring for our families. That's just part of the given part of being a family. However, I remember leveraging. My mom would say, "Well, will you clean the bathroom?" And I'd say, "You got a quarter?" And I remember working at my parents' bakery when I was very young, like 11, 12 years old, on Saturday night when everybody went to the movie, so not much business. They could trust me to sit there and read a book, and I don't know, I think I got 35 cents an hour. Probably give you a hint as to how old I am, huh? Back in the day. And then babysitting, 50 cents an hour, Yeah, I always had the entrepreneurial edge because I always wanted to buy things, So you got to have money to buy things. But I was willing to work for it.
Okay, I also have some other questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so a few weeks ago, I was looking in the mirror and I was noticing that for a long time, my right side had, of my forehead has been very I could move my eyebrows a lot. It was almost like my right side was a lot more uplifted and happy, and my left side was just really I couldn't move it. It was just sort of bogged down, and I was really annoyed about it. And then because it almost looked like one side of my face was a little bit sleepy. Anyway, and then a few days later I looked in the mirror again, and it had shifted. So now it's the left side that's perky, and it's the right side that's sort of a little bit more hanging a little bit more. It's I can't move the eyebrows the same way.
Why do you suppose you did that?
I don't know.
Maybe just to show yourself that you can.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah. But also take note that energy circulates on our planet the same way the Earth does, which is counterclockwise. So it comes to you from the left and goes out to the world from the right. So it passes through you from left to right. So this would be the receiving side, the left side. This would be the giving side for natural energy on our planet to flow. So that might be helpful in understanding.
Okay, yeah, because I wasn't sure if it had anything to do with the brain being, the right brain and the left brain or anything like that.
I try to spend as little time as possible thinking about our brains because I find them useless. Every time I'm in an analytical process or having a thought or thinking about my brain, I'm missing out on being in my heart,
Okay.
However, in studying the flower of life and becoming a flower of life teacher, we do learn to connect the right brain to the heart, which is the emotional side. It's the feminine side. And that's more than I can teach you in this class, but it's possible to do that. Definitely don't want your left brain, though, connected. What are you doing? I'm upside down. I see. Okay. You're just like an acrobat this morning. Well, she's flipping herself around. Yeah.
And another question is that, so when I'm receiving messages, the reason I feel like I'm doubting it a lot is because the messages I get is not something completely unknown to me. I feel like it could be something that I made up because it's not something I'm not getting messages about someone that is completely something I wouldn't have known. Do you know what I mean?
Are you talking about working in the school when you're giving messages?
Yes. In the
so
school.
The messages you're getting are uplifting and positive?
Yes.
But you're looking to get a message that's something that you don't know about, something that.
I guess if I got messages like that, I would be completely sure that it wasn't, something that I was, Yeah,
but how would you explain them if you didn't understand them? Don't you think the dolphins and whales are going to work with your consciousness? Especially when you're giving to someone else. They want you to be the expert. Right?
Yeah.
So I think you can expect to get more far out knowledge when you're meditating for yourself. But when you're working with the client, remember, it's not about you, it's about them. So they're going to use you in a way that makes the message very user friendly, very easy to understand, very applicable, practical even. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you got some far out message and then the client turns around and says, well, what does that mean? What would you say? Oh, I don't know. I just work here, you know. I'm not saying that won't happen. I'm just saying I wouldn't expect it, because the dolphins and whales are here to create clarity, right? And healing and practicality and all things that are usable, believable, right? Is that helpful?
Okay. Yes. Thank you very
but
much.
if you want far out messages, believe me, they're out there. Do it. Ask for yourself. We're just saying, I'll give you some far out messages. We'll travel far out into the world and we'll get all kinds of stuff. Okay, ask me over. Gotta have dinner though. I only come when there's tuna involved. Kidding. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. I don't have any more questions. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? That was a really good question. Prima.
Can I just ask you to clarify a bit about the Akashic records?
Sure.
Because it seems like I've seen three different channelings that have got different bit of it. One is that the Akashic records are in the water. One is that the whales hold the Akashic records, and the other is that the dolphins hold the Akashic records.
Okay, well, the Akashic records are in the water molecules, but there are water molecules everywhere. They're in your body too.
Right.
The dolphins and whales can use their ability to scan you, and they read your Akashic records through the liquid in your body, is what they've shared. But the Akashic records also exist in the etheric, but in the 3D world, I always think of them as being stored in the ocean, because the whales are sort of the keepers, the chronicles, you know. They take good care with the Akash. I also believe that the Akash is stored in the earth, in the sense of the cave of creation and all of the different crystals that are held there. And then I know it's stored, you know, in the higher realms too, because when you go and you leave this planet, you transition and you go to have your life experience or your life review, you go into a realm where you're looking at your own Akashic records and reliving everything that you've ever said or done. So try not to compartmentalize it so much. Okay.
So is it probably vibrational?
Oh, absolutely. It is vibrational.
So it's like,
yeah, it's not a written record to my knowledge. It's vibrational, but it's holographic. It's stored in like a holographic form, because when you see your review, which I had in '94, you see yourself and everybody around you. You see, mine started with myself choosing to come to Earth and picking my parents, and it ended on the day that I was, you know, died, I guess you'd say. Is that helpful?
Yeah, very helpful. Thanks.
Yeah, the official definition of the Akash is the recorded journey of your soul over every lifetime. But the aspect of it that you don't necessarily think about is the impact that you have on the world. You know, we go about our day walking and talking and having experiences, but you don't necessarily think how your vibration, even if you never spoke a word, impacts everybody around you, because it does. Right? Especially those that you guys that choose to activate your Merkaba, you're affecting people. Well, science has documented that you're once the disc pops out, which is breath 16, 55 feet of measurable energy, but it can impact up to 110 miles around you. And part of this is being done through heart math, where we study the coherence of the waves of the heart. So love ripples out, and love keeps going, and it's a matter of how far it goes, is in the sense of probably the power of your love, the power of your ability to have self-love. I know I have tracked the changes of our neighborhood since I've moved here, and we have continued conversations, Puda and I, over what's okay for a neighbor and what's not okay. And she's a little pushy with her power, because second family that lived here since we've lived here had I think relatives or stuff that visited, and they built these skateboard things, and they were made out of wood. So when they would do the skateboard things, they're going up and down hills and around curves, and the wheels on the wood were kind of loud. And then they'd play kind of loud music, and I'm not against loud music, but I didn't like their music. And Buddha would sit out there and she said, we have to get rid of these kids. This isn't working for me. Sure enough, family sold the house and moved away. And now we have very quiet neighbors with 7 cats. So I think that the space that you live in. Now, see, I wouldn't have thought of that. I mean, I personally wouldn't have thought I could control who lives next to me, but she would. She definitely would like to control the immediate neighborhood where she's at always, like to create peace, peaceful place to live. So something to think about, and how we impact the world and how the world impacts us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other questions? Comments about your DNA? That's a really good article, by the way, to share with your clients. 4 pages, it's a little bit long, but even just sharing pieces of it, like especially with the client that's coming back. And I am going to professionally record that one too, so it could become. The challenge right now is if it's not recorded is you could read it to your client and play music in the background, but you're not then able to dedicate that time to get the personal message, right? Can't really do both. So I'm working on that. I'll get some more recordings done before you guys officially complete your internship. If you like, that will be helpful. So we have a lot of channels that aren't recorded professionally yet. I really like them to be. Deep breath. Okay. All right. We are going to go into the information of the DNA before, at least a little bit before lunch. So let's have a new reader for page 56. Come on, somebody. Candace.
Okay. 56. Hold on. There it is.
By the way, is John Luke's art. It's on the bottom of the page.
What about it?
That's John Luke, we mentioned earlier, artist, with the macabre going into the crystalline grid with the help of the dolphins. Yeah. Just thought I'd say that.
Yeah. It always looks like a bone to me, like inside of an anatomy.
Looks like what?
Bones, like in the inside of an anatomy of a.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Whenever I look at that, that's what I think. Anyways, layers of DNA summary, 12 layers of DNA summary. The grounding layers. Layer 1, the biological layer. Layer 2, life lessons layer. Layer 3, ascension and activation layer. Then we have the human divine layers. Layer 4, your angelic name. Layer 5, your angelic name part 2. Layer 6, prayer and communication layer. And the Lemurian layers. Layer 7, your revealed divinity. Layer 8, wisdom and responsibility. Layer 9, healing. Then God layers. Layer 10, divine belief layer. Layer 11, wisdom of the divine feminine. Layer 12, Almighty God.
Very good.
Should we go on?
Yeah.
Numerology of the DNA. Group 1, which is 1, 2, and 3 equals 6. Group 2, which is 4, 5, and 6 equals, adds up to 15, which is a 6. Group 3, which is 7, 8, and 9, adds up to 24, which is a 6. Your DNA represents the 666. The secret of the 666 is you are God. Group 4, which is 10, 11, and 12 equals 33. The master number of 33 means compassion. It is a whale code, and it means Almighty God.
Okay, any questions about how they added that up? Like group 2, 4, 5, and 6 adds up to 15. 5 plus 1 is 6. So everybody gets that? Okay. This is very interesting to your clients, by the way. I don't know why, they really seem to enjoy hearing this. So share it with them. Okay. Okay, go ahead, Candace.
Okay. Layers of, and the reference is cryon.com. So layers of DNA. DNA group 1, the grounding layers. The grounding layers are layers 1, 2, and 3. These layers are the closest to your ability to understand DNA in your 3D existence. The subsequent layers become more multidimensional and harder to comprehend outside of the quantum state. They are all about creating a foundation for the understanding of the purpose and power of our DNA. DNA is the engine within. It is reactive and it is creative. It pushes and pulls, and like the other multidimensional energies in the universe, is aware of itself and therefore assists you in finding the creator within you as a human. Whoa, I was just had this thought of it would be really cool to have a conversation with our own DNA.
Yes, that is impactful. Yes. Yeah.
So layer 1, the biological layer. Layer 1 is the double helix with 3 billion chemical parts working together to create a reality that simply cannot be put into a logical linear box. Layer 1 of your DNA is the closest one to you and the messenger for all the other strands of DNA. It resides firmly in your 3D world that yet accesses the multidimensional layers. This is the one that our science can see. It facilitates communication with the other strands of DNA and therefore orchestrates the synchronicity between them.
Nice. And of course, this is the first layer that you work on with your clients.
Layer 2, your life lessons. Layer 2 is connected to the karma that is carried from lifetime to lifetime. Life lessons are personal, but yet connected to all you do and learn in each lifetime. As a human, you set up potentials for yourself to integrate and really learn life lessons each time. Those lessons learned are stored in this layer and carried over to the next life. They become a part of your DNA and do not have to be presented in the next lifetime. Layer 2 is the divine blueprint of the law of duality. It represents a search for an individual's life lessons.
Okay, this is the one that is really puts you in the position to be the emotional coach, where you let the dolphin, of course, speak through you. And you'll get to experience that today. I've never had anybody work on layer 2 that doesn't come to some level of really letting go of something that's plagued them. I mean, it should offer a major shift in their life. But there is a key, something to consider is if the person isn't ready to start to understand their life lessons, meaning take responsibility for whether they're playing the part of the predator or the victim, or they're not loving themselves enough, or they're not functioning in society, all of these things. They have to be ready. They have to be ready to forgive, and they have to be ready to change. And one of the key things I look for before I work on layer 2 on someone is I like to hear them talk about forgiveness and change. And they're like their normal life. They're already working on atoning, and they're working to break through and let go of the crap in their life, basically, and move to a higher state. And they're not necessarily understanding how to do that. So this is one of the factors that after the whales have worked on them, they're still holding resistance. So it's usually a pretty big piece that will break off and come through. And hopefully somebody will be a really good example today. I've been asking for that, so that you can see that demonstration of the power of the dolphin to work so lovingly with you on the really painful stuff, how they can do that. Okay. So again, but I don't recommend it unless the person's really already on that path in the first few sessions. I like to do some other work with them first so that I get to know them so I can support them when we do get to layer 2 and we're successful. So, okay, Candace, layer 3.
Yeah, it also requires a level of trust of them so that they're also comfortable with you.
That's right.
Like with us. So it's both ways.
Yeah.
Because there is a real opening that happens, that you need to feel safe in this container with the whales, with the dolphins, with the facilitator to allow that to take place.
Yeah, everybody's not ready to talk about their most painful stuff. Yeah, I hear you. Yet. There has to be trust.
Yeah. Okay. Should I continue?
Yeah.
Okay. Layer 3, Ascension and Activation Layer. Layer 3 never changes and cannot be changed. Instead, it is what changes the other layers in the chemistry of the body to help with spiritual awakening. It is the action layer that is always listening for changes in our consciousness. It is the guiding force within the DNA that continually guides you towards the next activation, which is one step closer to ascension.
Nice. Very uplifting. You guys have experienced that now. Yeah. Okay, let's do, have you read group 2, and then we'll stop.
Okay, group 2. DNA group 2 layers 4, 5, and 6, the human divine layers. Layers 4 and 5, your angelic name. These layers move into multidimensionality in the quantum layers of DNA. Layers 4 and 5 are linked together using the words that are the names of God in every level of communication and your angelic name. Layers 4 and 5 are representative of the essence of your expression in this specific life on Earth, and they represent your divinity on the planet. They link to your name on the crystal that holds your Akashic records in the cave of creation. Your name in this lifetime is linked to all of the other names you have held and to all of the names that hold the essence of that which is called God. The energy of this archived information is so large that 2 layers are needed to hold the information. Layer 6, your higher self. The higher self is not separate or apart from the human being. It is indeed God in you. It is often referred to as your soul. In human form, this part of your DNA offers you a pathway or even a vehicle to find divinity within yourself. Think of it as the elevator to your destination. However, it is up to you how you take the journey to becoming God during this lifetime. Each path is different, even though the destination is a given. This part of your DNA is your I am presence, hence the affirmation, I am that I am. This layer is a portal to the larger sacred party that you split off from when you decided to come to Earth. It facilitates the very communication with God through prayer and meditation, and is the layer that is the catalyst and the pipeline to the other side of the veil to communicate with that which is also known as the Holy Spirit.
Nice. It's a lot of information. And of course, it's going to play out in each person and each session differently. So the thing that's coming up for me to say to you is, as many times as I can, is that when you're doing this work, you have to remember that even if you're a coach, even if you have years and years of working with people in their emotional bodies, you are not the coach this time. You are the voice. You get to be the voice. You get to be a catalytic energy, electromagnetic energy that holds space, but the dolphin does the talking, okay? The dolphin does the wisdom part. And if you don't let the dolphin do that, when the messages come in, particularly with layer 2, it's not going to be the same experience. It's not really going to be a DNA calibration. It's going to be a Jen or a Tina or a Karen calibration, which is not the same. So you have to watch to not let yourself push your way out there and get in front of the dolphin, because the dolphin won't push back, okay? Because they're just pure love. Does that make sense? Everybody home? Marta.
I have a question. So on this, on layer 2. So normally I work with women, I do coaching, and we go very deep, quite naturally, and many are mothers, so we work a lot with their shadow stuff that is coming up. And so if I would complement like the work or the programs I do, and then, you know, some of them want to go into like energy healing, and I do like a clearing, like the whales, you know, the first clearing session and then light body activation. Could I go like the first work they do with the dolphins? Could it be layer 2 or?
I don't think you know the answer to that yet because you haven't done it. Okay, let me ask you a question. When you work with the women that you work with, do you teach them that they're the creator of their own experience?
Yeah.
You teach them they're responsible for everything?
Yeah. Even though sometimes it's difficult because sometimes
let's just go there since you went there. That means there is no shadow. There's no such thing as a shadow. If you're the creator of everything and everything benefits you, where's the shadow?
Yeah. Yeah, I just use the term shadow because the term that is being used like that.
But see, that's an earthbound concept. It's not something the dolphins and whales are going to share with you. They don't have a shadow side or a dark side. They just have responsibility for everything that's been created.
Yeah.
And with that comes a reason why you would choose something that would appear to be dark.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they go. So after you have the calibration today, then ask that question again. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you willing to step back and let them do the work?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's definitely not my problem. It's like when would it be good for them?
Well, the thing is, everything the dolphins and whales do come from a place of perfection, which is the higher realms, where there's nothing wrong, and we have this perfectly aligned blueprint. Then we come down here and we have free will, and how we use our free will, believe it or not, is always orchestrated. They'll always find a way to turn that to the good. They'll always find a way to turn what you would perceive to be something dark and ugly into something beautiful.
Yeah.
And loving. Yeah. And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Cool. No, yeah. And on that, I want to
clarify. In other words, everything happens for a reason. You've heard that, right?
Yeah, no, that's the thing that I always say, like everything, all that we are, and you know, it's all good. So it's like that shadow thing is because it's what is said, no, like motherhood.
Okay, let me ask you another question. When was the last time you were able to tell one of your clients that they're older in their soul energy than the person they have an issue with? In other words,
they're older in their soul energy.
Yeah, they're an older soul, but yet they're playing a younger part. That explains a lot, doesn't it? An older soul with lots of experience coming to Earth, willing to play the daughter or the son of someone that's a laggard soul, let's say, for example. So they're going to have a really difficult, traumatic childhood because they're coming in under a very dark, old being that doesn't want to come to the light. And that person's now in the most important position, which is parenthood. So why would the old soul do that? Why would they put themselves in a position to suffer like that? Anybody know? To help that person
learn.
It's to help the laggard soul potentially get to the light. What other better way to do it? Does it work? Usually not. And that particular experiment's been taken off the table now. We're not allowed to do that anymore because it's too dangerous. We lost a lot of souls in the sense that we had to go in and rescue them, and we still are rescuing them. I married one, I know. The laggard souls are usually remnants from Maldak or Mars, or they were part of the sinking of Atlantis. I mean, they have really dark history. Doesn't mean they won't come around and turn back to the light being that they are. It means that they haven't in many, many, many millennium. So we thought that, by being born to them, that in many cases we could help them. But boy, that child's going to suffer. They're going to be damaged as an adult. They're going to need a lot of help. That's a lot of the people we're helping now are the ones that integrated into the laggard families. So, but we'll talk about that. Okay. It's going to take an hour for lunch, but I'm in 30 minutes or so. I'm just going to go grab a little something to eat and then come back and I'll set up the Andaras. You guys are the first to see them. And then we'll take 30 minutes there, and then I'll show them more at the end of class too. And then if there's people that are watching the recording that couldn't be present today, I haven't advertised them to the public yet because last time you guys bought them all. And I want them to go to you guys. I'd rather see the crystals go into working homes, okay? That's my thought. So have a nice lunch.
Oh, Lori, I'm going to head out for a walk. It's windy, and I'm just wondering, it's 5 after 1 here. Do I need to be back by, say, 2 o'clock?
No, well, I'm going to start showing them in a half hour to 40 minutes as soon as I eat something.
Okay, yeah, I don't need any Andar crystals, though, so I was going to take the whole
Oh, well,
hour.
then just like an hour.
Okay, great. See you then. Thank you.
Okay, you bet.